You have to forgive me if my voice sounds a little weird. I'm just now getting over a cold. But I need to talk about this right now. As you all know, this past weekend was Veterans Day weekend. We all know our veterans, past and present, who have served our nation, served our country, keeping her safe. Now, of course, President Biden commented on it in the standard way for any president, any former president, any reasonable American would do. Not so with Donald Trump. On Truth Social, oh boy, this shit, oh God. In honor of our great veterans on Veterans Day, we pledge to you that we will root out the communist, Marxist, fascist, radical leftist thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country, lie, steal, and cheat on elections, and will do anything possible, whether legally or illegally, to destroy America and the American dream. The threat from the outside forces is far less sinister, dangerous, and grave than the threat from within. Despite the hatred and anger of the radical left lunatics who want to destroy our country, we will make America great again. Now, it's not just the fact that he shows complete and total disrespect to our veterans by pushing out his talking points. I mean, we are talking about a guy who says that he likes war heroes that weren't captured, i.e. former Senator John McCain, Vietnam veteran, and in the presence of another Marine veteran officer, calling those who died at Belleau Wood losers and suckers. This is a man who wanted a North Korean Russian-style parade with American tanks rolling down Washington, D.C. See, I really don't have a problem with all this. Trump is Trump. He's always going to be like this. It's not about the people he wants to show respect for. It's about the people, it's about pushing out his talking points. What I do have a problem with is something that I have been talking about for so long. And it's time for us to come out and say it. Donald Trump has become Adolf Hitler. That's not hyperbole. That is the truth. This man in this Truth Social post, where he calls anyone who opposes him vermin, echoing exactly what Adolf Hitler has said. And this isn't the first time, and I don't think it's going to be the last time. Trump has used this kind of rhetoric before in the past. He has said that he's compared immigrants, whether they're legal or illegal. He's compared them to. He's actually said that they're poisoning the blood of our country. His words. And I say his words, but I should say really their words, because Hitler used that kind of rhetoric to justify the Holocaust, to justify the racism against Jews. But it's time for us to stop playing games with this. Donald Trump has become Adolf Hitler. I've already told you in previous videos about his plans if he regains power in 2024. His plans to create an American dictatorship to punish his enemies. His enemies, of course, being the news media for questioning him about his decisions or comments he's made, to law enforcement and criminal justice professionals who prosecuted him because of crimes he committed, to people like you and people like me who did the ultimate sins of A, not voting for him, and B, not kneeling to him like the rest of the MAGA are. Trump is making his intentions when it comes to power, regaining power, and what he's going to do with that power, very clear. And he is using one of the most notorious monsters in the history of humanity to back it up. The great Maya Angelou, heaven rest her soul, once said that when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Donald Trump is showing us exactly what he is and what he's planning to do. And the only people, it seems, that are so blind to this fact are his followers or his enablers. I just watched a couple of video clips of Ronna McDaniel, the current head of the RNC, the Republican National Committee, who is probably going to lose her job sooner or later. When she was asked to comment on Donald Trump's latest posts, using the imagery of Nazi Germany, of Adolf Hitler, she didn't comment. She didn't say it was wrong. She didn't say, no, we don't stand for this. All she did was try to backpedal, saying how great Donald Trump was and blah, blah, blah. That's where we've come to this country. We've come to the point where a former Republican president facing 91 felony charges, any one of which could possibly disqualify him from ever running for office again, normalizing the hateful and genocidal rhetoric of Adolf Hitler, to the point where Republicans say nothing about it. Republicans who scold me and many of us out there about the Constitution, about putting America first. Mary Jean Taylor Greene, I'm talking about you. None of them have said anything about this. They've normalized it. This is not normal. Quoting Adolf Hitler, that's not normal to me in this country. But then again, we saw neo-Nazis and Ku Klux Klansmen marching on a college campus in 2021. The Unite the Right rally, where a young girl was killed for standing up to these real vermin. Let's get something straight right now. The vermin in this country are those of the neo-Nazis, the Ku Klux Klan, who would applaud what Donald Trump has said because it supports their sick, twisted ideology. If the Republican Party is not willing to step up and say this is wrong, and I'm not talking about just average Republican voters. I'm talking about men in the Senate, men and women in the Senate, men and women in Congress. People who scream at people like me because we knelt during the national anthem. If those same people are willing to allow this to continue, with Donald Trump continuing the vitriol of Adolf Hitler, you're no longer Americans in my eyes. You are the brown shirts of the new American Reich, with Donald Trump as its chancellor, as its Führer, as it's called. Donald Trump is the new Adolf Hitler. He has made it clear that he will militarize this country against its own people, all because not all of us are willing to bow to him, not all of us are going to support him. That's completely antithetical to what America is. He is supporting exactly what Nazi Germany was, and he wants to bring that to this country. As I said earlier, as Maya Angelou said, and I'm going to repeat it, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Donald Trump is showing that he's Adolf Hitler. And the people supporting him, who will not raise eyebrows when he says things like this, when he uses our American veterans as a cover for his hatred, are just as guilty as he is. More so because they stood back and watched as tanks rolled down the streets, destroying what this country was. Unfortunately, the same way in 1939, when Poland was invaded, starting the Second World War by Nazi Germany. Right now, we have a chance to stop him with two ways. The convictions on all the serious crimes he's accused of, especially when it comes to the Georgia and Washington, D.C., and the January 6th cases, or the ballot box. Barring all that, Donald Trump cannot be allowed to be president of the United States again, because everything this country has fought for, has bled for, and has represented for over 250 years will die at the hands of the Führer, Donald Trump. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.